Hello ladies and gentlemen, I want to address something in this video that, a lot of people have been running away with, to say that I'm like incredibly biased towards HSR and I just absolutely hate WUA in comparison, prove why this isn't the case, and why, at least to me, it doesn't make sense that there wasn't this same outrage during 3.4 as compared to the 3.7 banners, right? So this is a few people who watch me from, I guess, my WUA content, whether they hate or not. Some of them are genuine, so I haven't banned them. I can look at people's comment history, so if they're like all negative, then I'll probably ban them. But if they aren't and they genuinely give their honest opinions here and there, I won't ban them. That's why a lot of people who are still negative towards some of my opinions, they're still here and they're consistently negative sometimes. It's because I know, they pop by the streams, they have a few takes here and there. They don't actually just hate watch me, right? But people are trying to say like I'm a hypocrite basically because I'm not calling the upcoming HSR banners like the most predatory thing the game has ever done, when I was calling out banners in WUA, because apparently Cassie's entire so-called best in slot team is all in the exact same patch, which isn't the case. It's 3 of them, but then again, I can semi-understand it. However, what I need other people to understand is I didn't call out the 1 patch period Zanny, Chisa, Phoebe banners either, right? This isn't favoritism that I've showed towards HSR. I have made 0 videos talking about the fact that Zanny is the second half of 2.6, and then right after her banner is Chisa plus Phoebe. So that's literally the entire team. Now in WUA, there's only 3 characters for a team, so I understand some people may think that's unfair, but still, that is 3 versus 3 within a 1 patch period, same as HSR, which people are using this argument against me with, right? Let's all be honest. All banners are predatory. These games purposely rerun certain supports for an upcoming DPS that's rerunning or a new DPS that's coming out. However, this isn't anything new, and this is exactly why I'm confused. For example, in 3.4, there wasn't anywhere near the same outrage, despite the fact that it was the only triple harmony rerun banner in the history of the game. You had Sparkle, who was best in slot for Archer, who, guess what, dropped in 3.4. You had Sunday, who was best in slot for both Saber and Phenon, who dropped in 3.4. And then you had Tribby, who is just one of the most general and strongest supports in the entirety of the game, who's best in slot in things like Phenon Sustainless, can also be used as a great alternative if you don't have Cypher or Silverwolf for Archer, can also be used as a near best in slot for Saber. You kind of get the point at this point, right? 3.4 was arguably more predatory than 3.7 was, outside of that shitty ass spending event, which no one should really care about or feel the FOMO for. So I'm just confused, right? Why are people coming out of the woodwork out of absolutely fucking nowhere to say I have bias towards HSR and clearly I have an agenda against WUA, when I haven't called out WUA when it's done the exact same thing? I haven't called out both games, and people think me not calling out one means I'm biased towards it. How does that make any sense at all, right? It is very frustrating these days for me to have any energy to make WUA content, because holy fuck, man, it's just so goddamn miserable. On top of this, I really just don't think comparing negative status supports to supports in HSR makes any fucking sense. Like, you can maybe make this argument for characters like Saridra, Jiaoqiu, so on and so on, but when it comes to Cyrene and Tribby specifically, these are characters who are so general that they're best in slot with half the roster, and Cyrene is best in slot with the entire current Amphoreus meta. You can't even say like, oh, Cyrene and Tribby rerun, this is targeted towards only Cassie mains and to be incredibly predatory for them. anyone who has pulled any Amphorius DPS would feel slightly tempted to pull Cyrene because she is best in slot for all of them, even if the jump isn't the same between all the DPSs. And Tribby, once again, is still like best in slot with half the DPSs with the in the game with one of the most broken E1s. These aren't casterist specific supports or archetype specific supports, right? It's not a fucking Phoebe who can only support one DPS. It's not a Chacona who's only best in slot with like 2 or 3 characters. Even Cyrene, who for us, right? For us in the HSR community, with our standards of like general supports and shit, Cyrene we consider a niche support, despite the fact that she is a best in slot support for like 5 or 6 DPSs, right? Like, let that sink in. Best in slot for 5 or 6 DPSs, and like half of them get a 20 to 30+% jump from using her in their best in slot teams. This isn't a one character specific support. It simply isn't, right? This is why I didn't say Chisa, right? Oh my god, Chisa is so predatory because she's targeted towards negative status, and as of current, we literally only have 2 negative status main DPSs. I didn't even say that shit, right? Because I know Chisa will probably get more love going down the line with a few more negative status characters. I think there's like 6 or 7. Oh my god, I can't believe I just said that. But you get the point, right? Like, there's going to be more negative statuses. Even then, Chisa will probably be best in slot for as many DPSs like a year or 2 down the line as Cyrene is for the Chrysos Air DPSs. So, like, what do people fucking want from me? Right? Like, do you want me to actually be a hypocrite and call out HSR on shit that I don't even call Wua out on? Or like, what the fuck is going on here? Just let me make my content, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, please just let me make my content. Sometimes, even if I recognize some things can be predatory or here and there, I won't talk about literally everything unless it's like standing out like a sore fucking bruise or something, right? I need people to understand this. I'm not a content creator who is constantly going out of his way to shit on games. Every here and then I'll criticize something, but most of the time it's because it affects me personally and not because of things that don't affect me. For example, people also brought up me not talking about Cyrene's bow skin or some shit. Like, I don't give a fuck. I didn't talk about the Carlotta and Chang Li skins. There was a little drama back then that the price was not really deserved because it didn't feel as premium as the Jin Chi skin. I didn't even fucking talk about that. I didn't talk about Vivian's skin spending event either in ZZZ because I don't give a shit, right? Like, who actually gives a shit about these skins? I mean, okay, I shouldn't say that because I know a lot of people out there probably do, but personally I don't, and that's why I didn't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that these banner lineups aren't predatory, it's that all banner lineups are always fucking predatory, and this one isn't even the most predatory banners we've had in my opinion. It still stands at 3.4 with the Tribby Sparkle Sunday rerun. That shit was absolutely fucking disgusting, and I didn't see anywhere near as much outrage for that rerun banner as compared to the current 3.7 banner, at least from some people in my comment sections, right? You can feel free to disagree, whatever. I just want people to put real fucking opinions under my things, right? Instead of just blindly hating on me, saying, oh my god, look at how biased you are. Actually use nuance and a bit of your brain. And I know a lot of people may think this comes off as egotistical, but trust me, there's a reason why I haven't banned so many people who as well have opposing opinions to mine, who are like mainly Woo viewers. It's because those people can actually provide nuance in the things that they're saying and what they're arguing against me with. But like, the majority of complaints I'm getting for not calling the Cassie banners the most predatory thing that has ever happened in the game is legit just agenda. They completely ignore every point I bring up and are basically saying if any support, right? It doesn't matter if they're general. It doesn't matter if they're best in slot for the entire current meta or half the DPSs that exist in the game. If they rerun any support, even if they're the most general character in the game, with a DPS who has that support as a best in slot, it's the most predatory shit a game could ever do. Like, all gachas do this, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't anything new. I understand it sucks for Cassie havers, but Tribby and Cyrene are not Cassie specific buffers. In fact, Cyrene probably gives a bigger jump in performance for characters like My Day and Anoxa than they do for fucking Cassie, right? And even then, you need Evernight for Cyrene to be as good as she is in a Cassie team, who, by the way, isn't rerunning in the current patch. If you don't have Evernight, then Cyrene is basically just a Tribby side grade. So please, people, use your brains if you're going to complain about some shit that I don't even know why the fuck you're complaining about it, right? Love you all. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. Peace out.